Alrighty, here I am. So, just wanted to make a video about one of the things we did in class for one of my classes the other day. And before I start, though, I'd have to highly recommend this beer here, St. Arnold Oktoberfest. And this is what it looks like in the glass. So you can tell it kind of amberish color, I guess, but it's pretty good. It's a little sweeter than Leinenkugel Oktoberfest, but they're both really good beers. Yeah, anyway, so I want to talk about this assignment, I guess, the in-class assignment. It was more like a discussion, I guess you could say, or it was a debate. And it was over Herzebergs two-factor theory of needs or whatever, so I think that's how it's called, but the idea is that there's two needs that people have, and I guess it's specifically talking about the workplace, but I could apply to various situations, I guess. And the two needs are hygiene factors and motivation factors. And so where hygiene factors are the things that are required for people to feel comfortable, but then after a certain point they don't really help any. Whereas motivation factors are more like incentives. They get people to work harder and blah 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 blah. So I guess one way you could put this is that is in marginal utility, right? The hygiene factors have diminishing marginal utility, and so they're like a good, whereas motivation factors would be more like wealth, since you can never have too much wealth, because wealth is just fulfillment of preferences or whatever. So anyways, but the activity was a debate, and what they did was they split up this side of the room and that side of the room, and you had to, whatever side you were on, you were assigned one of these factors. Like one half of the room was hygiene factors, the other side was motivation factors. Excuse me. And then each side had to debate the other on why theirs was more important. And I just found this really weird, because like, what if you first of all you don't believe that yours is more important, right? And obviously you can't believe that both are more important than the other, right? So I thought that was really weird. And so the guest lecturer asked us, why do y'all think we have you do this? And then of course they gave the obvious answer, so we could see both sides to it, right? But again, I mean, if you start off with the just at the outset that you're going to debate that your side is more important, not that it's important and you're listing the things that make it important, but that it's more important than the other, right? Than the other side's whatever. Then, like for example, you have hygiene. You have to explain why hygiene is more important than motivation factors. If you have motivation factors, you have to explain not all the things that make it good and important, but that it is more important than hygiene factors, right? So I thought that was really strange. So because again, I mean, what if one is not more important than the other, right? And one of the things that I said was I used the concept of marginal utility. I didn't say marginal utility in class because I figured no one would really get that, but I said I think it depends on the situation. Like in a situation where there's not enough of the hygiene factors, whichever one's lower is going to be the limiting thing, so to speak, whichever one is lower compared to how much is needed. So suppose that hygiene factors are below where they need to be, that makes, at that moment, hygiene factors become more important than the motivation factors. Then, like, once they're fulfilled, the motivations can be higher. The motivation factors become more important. So at that time, so it depends on the scenario. And I guess the guest lecturer was like, "Oh, okay, I can see that," but I don't know. She seemed like, I don't know. It's like almost like, I don't want to say she blew it off, but she was like, "Okay, any other opinions?" Blah blah. And then, because she was like nodding her head at other people's stuff, and then when I said it, she just like stayed still. I guess I don't know. It was weird. I guess it was one of those non-verbal cues. I guess body language. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I probably am, but it just seemed that way. Like she didn't really care that I said anything. But so the other people there were of course giving their sides, and oh, this one guy said motivation is what gets you to work and blah blah blah, and then you're always going to overcome hurdles, and then someone else said, oh, yeah, but you can only jump so high, which was kind of funny, right? Because it's a hurdle, you only jump so high. But yeah, and so that's why one person on our side said the hygiene factors were more important. But and then another person on my side of the room said that it's a mix of both, right? It also depends. And so yeah, I thought it was weird how they, instead of having each side just list all of the things that make them important or whatever, how we right at the outset were made to debate that ours was better than the other side of the rooms. I just think that's really weird. I think that kind of promotes intellectual dishonesty almost, you know? Maybe not even almost, maybe it does. Because suppose you have St. Arnold Oktoberfest, right? And then the other side of the room has Corona Extra, and then each have to debate on why theirs is better, right? And within each group, it's reasonable to expect that some people might not think that, you know, their side is better. And of course it's subjective, right? The word better is inherently subjective. The only way for something to be objectively better is if it's better in terms of being conducive to a certain end or a certain goal. But I just thought that was pretty interesting, so I wanted to make a video about it.